Good morning, everybody. Thought we'd do a look around in the hoop house today. Well, right here is our peppers we got started. These spend the night in the house, but they're out here right now. They're jalapenos over here on the left. There's some Jimenez chilies in the middle. And then these others were some saved seed, but they were old. There were some wanks. Uh, kind of, oh, I forget what kind of chili it's called. It doesn't matter. Over here we've got some garlic. It's hard to see coming up there. And we had beets in here last year. There's still some stragglers in there we could pick and eat. But getting ready to turn this bed over. This will probably all be chilies from down where the garlic is all the way all through here. This is all cover crops. This is all medium red clover. There's another beet right there. We had brassicas all in here all through the winter. This was our brassica patch. So those all got pulled probably a couple weeks ago. And let's see, moving on. We got more garlic down here. So yeah, all the way to here. And the garlic bag there, this whole patch here will probably be chilies. Very excited to grow a lot of jalapenos this year. And then more garlic here. And then this is where I've been prepping beds. So terminating cover crops, putting compost down, and watering, and then covering it with a little bit of grass hay as a mulch to help keep the moisture in. I think that's really important. My big goals this year. And then here, this is lettuce I planted last night. Let's see. These little guys, you can see them. There's red lettuces and green. There's a green one. So you can see they're all through here. These were planted last night. There's also a few radishes in here. There's some radishes right there. There's a few more over here. Also, hello radish. I multi-sow those in flats also, just because it's easy to get them started, even when it's super cold. And then you can just pop them in the ground, just poke a hole in the ground and pop them in. This is a 128 flat right here. And these are the wind strips. You can check them out. They do, yeah, you can't, it's hard to explain, but anyway, they air prune. There's little slots down the sides so that the roots don't wind around. They hit that air and then they just stop and then they start a new root. So they don't get root bound in these. You can keep them in a bit longer. Plus they're real durable. I'm tired of I've had these other ones for almost probably 7 or 8 years. And they're crappy plastic and they probably broke the first year. So I'm glad to be rid of them. So yeah, a couple of kinds of lettuce, and in the middle is more of those radishes. And then this was planted maybe a week ago out of the same flat. So normally what I'll do is I'll just, once they start looking pretty good, they have probably their second or third set of true leaves, I'll start looking at putting them in the ground. And I'll just bring the flat out and I'll take the biggest ones out and I'll plant those. And then that makes more room in the flat for the other ones to get access to light. And then, and then it allows them to be hardened off too. I start leaving this flat out here at night and then we cover this whole thing with agricultural fleece that goes over these hoops at night. I'm sure you've all seen us do that before. There are several videos of me uncovering. Yeah, and then we've got carrots over here in this bed that are plugging along. They'll probably become good in about another month. We should be able to start picking this lettuce in probably 3 weeks. Same thing with the radishes. I need to get the rest of those planted. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. There's more prep over here. Here's something that's kind of interesting. I'll try to do it like this so you can see. You can see where the lettuce is planted. And then there's like kind of a wild spot. And it's a wild spot like this. And it's cover crops. And they just come up on their own. It's clovers and there's vetch, and then there's some native plants. Well, plants that just come up in here anyway. And what this is where the big bare areas are, is where I had big plants like tomatoes or cucumbers or something like that. And then these areas is where there was lettuce. And it flip-flops every year. So now this is where the lettuce is. And this is where we'll do the bigger plants. And what we'll do is, our last frost is June 15th. And so when we get close to that, about 30 days out, I'll come in and I'll terminate all of this and cover it, make sure and smother it with some cardboard. So I'll take a hoe and just cut everything up, cover it to terminate it, and then I'll uncover, put some compost on it, and it'll be ready to put my big plants in, my heavy feeders. So it kind of flip-flops every year. And to be honest, I didn't really plan it that way necessarily. It just kind of happened. So, but it's a nice, it seems to work out, I think there's a lot to just getting out in the garden and just getting started. And how to rotate, if you rotate, and what you rotate into your crop rotations is, that's a whole other story. But the cover crops always just come up on their own every year. There's a lot of cover crop seed in here. I just let things go to seed. So, there's management, but like this is, we grew the brassicas in here. So this was covered and watered all winter. So you can see how thick the clover is, and then the vetch, and Brussels sprout, tiny little Brussels sprouts there. And there's some cheatgrass in there and stuff too, but this will all get terminated before, about the same time we do the other ones, but I'll make sure that nothing goes to seed in here. So even if there's, I'm doing air quotes, you can't see, but even if there's weeds, plants, necessarily want growing in your garden all the time, as long as they're not going to seed, and they're healthy, when you come to terminate them, it's probably pretty good for your garden. Even weeds, it's just the seeds that are a problem. All right, take care, everybody.